A Saturday in San Francisco. This Diamondbacks versus Giants series sponsorship is presented by Chevrolet. It's another packed house on another cold night at McCovey Cove, where the D-backs have a chance to win 3 straight here for the first time since 2012 and assure themselves of both a series victory and a winning record on this road trip. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. And good evening from AT&T Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. Diamondbacks looking to make it 3 straight over the defending World Series champion Giants. And Bob, the theme so far has been offense. 16 runs for the Diamondbacks through 2 games here.
Really, really good to see, partner. Up and down the lineup, too, getting contributions from everybody. First game of this series was a little like a heavyweight fight, just trading punches. Wasn't the prettiest game in the world, but the Diamondbacks broke out the bats. 3 home runs in that ball game, including Mark Trumbo, Paul Goldschmidt, and A.J. Pollock.
16 runs, 29 hits, 9 extra base hits, batting .308 with the runners in scoring position, and they have been rolling along here. Josh Colmentor provided the pitching storyline last night. What a game it was for Josh, his 2nd career shutout. And tonight it's Ruby De La Rosa and Chris Heston. De La Rosa beat the Giants last week, and Heston beat the D-backs last week at Chase Field.
Yeah, the ERA doesn't look so pretty for Ruby De La Rosa, but there's one guy in every rotation that seems to get a lot of offensive support and some good defense behind him. That's been Ruby so far. And Heston is kind of an unknown quantity. Pitched really well against the Diamondbacks at Chase Field in his first major league victory last week. Now that they've had a chance to see him, garner a little video scouting, a little more advanced scouting, hopefully the Diamondbacks will have a better approach against him tonight.
Heston taking the rotation spot of the injured Matt Cain. Diamondbacks will try and hand the defending champs their 9th straight loss. Can they make it 3 in a row in this series? Ruby on the mound. Can he go 3-0 in 3 D-back starts? First pitch is on the way on Fox Sports Arizona. On Fox Sports Arizona, the 3rd of a 4-game series between the D-backs and the defending champion San Francisco Giants, Bob, as they just got their rings. Quite a day here for the Giants fans.
It really was. Some Giant greats were here. Willie McCovey, Willie Mays, Juan Marichal, Orlando Cepeda, Gaylord Perry. Paratroopers coming into the ballpark. White gloves on the World Series rings. Manager Bruce Bochy and President Larry Baer out on the mound before the ball game. Hunter Pence got one of the biggest rounds of applause, along with Tim Lincecum and Madison Bumgarner, as you might expect. Quite a ceremony. They should have it down pat by now, 3 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah, they their special gold uniforms on after their win in 7 games over the Kansas City Royals. But it's gone quite the other way so far this season. The Giants have lost 8 straight games, their longest losing streak in almost 9 years, and the D-backs have a chance to make it 3 for 3 against the Giants here in this series tonight.
Made a little hangover from that World Series last year as Chris Heston begins his warm-up tosses before today's game. And one thing, when you have a ceremony like that on the field before the ball game, neither team took batting practice on the field. The Giants were lined up to receive their rings, and really just about 10 minutes ago ran down the left field line, tried to get loose very quickly, and now we're about to play ball.
Well, on the mound for the Giants, as we mentioned, rookie right-hander Chris Heston. He's been the Giants' best starting pitcher this season. Here's assistant hitting coach Mark Grace for the latest on our Arizona Ford starting pitcher.
He kind of got us with the element of surprise, Jody. It was one of those we didn't know what his fastball did or what his tendencies were. Now, after he stuck it to us, he threw a beautiful ball game against us, unfortunately, and now we're kind of hoping with what he did to us in Arizona. If I'm Chris Heston, I'm going to try to do the exact same things I did to us out in Arizona. Well, we know that now, and I think we'll be a little more prepared for it.
Yeah, his first career win in the big leagues came at Chase Field last week against the Diamondbacks. So far here, a 1-1 record in 2 starts. He's given up, Bob, only 1 earned run in 13 innings so far this year.
He's been really good. This guy kind of came out of nowhere, like I said a little while ago. He was designated for assignment a couple of years ago to clear a roster spot, and was subsequently released and then re-signed to a minor league contract. And if you ask what's the difference between this Chris Heston and the guy that got released 2 years ago, they say he gained a little weight, got a little stronger, throws a little harder, a little better movement on that sinker, and it's been really good for him in the early going.
D-backs going for their 3rd straight win over the Giants at AT&T Park. Haven't done that since September of 2012 as Ender Inciarte looks at strike 1. Lance Barrett is the plate umpire. 62 degrees on a cool evening by the Bay in San Francisco, and it's a ball and a strike to the Diamondback leadoff man. Ender 3rd in the league in hitting. He's at .395, and he's got an 8-game hitting streak. Roll to second, right to Joe Panik. 1 up, 1 down for Chris Heston, and that's a ground ball. This is how he makes his living, Chris Heston. A lot of ground ball outs. This is the lineup that faces him for Chip Hale tonight.
Ender Inciarte at the top. Jake Lamb moves up to the 2 spot tonight with Paul Goldschmidt and his great career numbers here at AT&T, batting 3rd. David Peralta in left field hitting 4th. Mark Trumbo in right field. Tuffy Gosewish behind the plate with Chris Owings at 2nd. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. And the right-hander Ruby De La Rosa on the mound.
A night off for A.J. Pollock. So, as Bob mentioned, here is Jake Lamb in the 2-hole with a batting average of .440 to start the year and 9 RBIs in 9 games. Slaps that one down the left field line, and it's foul. Jake Lamb got a 5-game hitting streak coming into tonight. Jake has reached base safely in every game he's played this year. Had a pair of hits last night, including a 2-run triple. Hard to top what we saw from Josh Colementor last night. A 4-hit shutout, only 2 strikeouts. He was tremendously efficient. Swing and a miss there. It's 2-2. His 2nd career complete game and 2nd career shutout.
When you heard him talking to Jody on the pregame show, it's a fastball command. Everything was about fastball command, and usually that's the case. A guy that relies a lot on a straight changeup, you have to spot that fastball to get guys off of that changeup.
Panik again from the outfield grass, throws out Lamb, 2 down. This is the Giant defensive lineup around their rookie starter.
Aoki in left, Pagan in center, Blanco in right. 3rd to 1st across the infield is Casey McGee, Brandon Crawford, Joe Panik, and Brandon Belt. Buster Posey once again doing the catching, and Chris Heston on the mound.
And Paul Goldschmidt at the plate. Goldie, the batting average is at .317, and he begins the day leading the major leagues with 13 RBIs. You see the OPS right there. That's good for 4th in the National League. And he's ahead 2-0.
When you face a sinker ball pitcher like Heston, you try to tell yourself as a hitter, get a ball up. Anything from the middle of the thighs down is probably going to result in a ground ball. So you want to go mid thighs up. Look for something up in the zone.
It's a high strike call from Lance Barrett. This is what Chris Heston throws. That two-seam sinking fastball dominates.
He's kind of scrapped that slider a little bit recently. We've been told more fastball, curveball, changeup.
Right at Pagan, who fights the sun. Couldn't find it up there for a moment. Got a late break and comes in for the out. A 1-2-3 start for Chris Heston. We are underway in San Francisco. For Arizona, it's 26-year-old right-hander Ruby De La Rosa, 2-0 in his first two starts as a Diamondback. He beat the Giants in his D-backs debut last Tuesday at Chase Field.
That was a 7-6 victory. He gave up 6 runs in that ball game, all 6 of them on 8 hits. Did walk a couple of batters, was much better second time out against the Padres. 6 strong innings, gave up only 3 runs.
He has benefited from very good run support. The Diamondbacks have scored 15 runs in Ruby's 2 starts. And he is 2-0 to begin the year. And this was Ruby's line against San Diego at Petco Park Monday. Much sharper his second time out. 3 runs, 6 hits, and 6. A walk and 5 strikeouts. Nori Aoki looks at strike 1. Norichika Aoki batting .320 for the year. He's already had 5 multi-hit games this season. And he shoots that one down the left field line. It's rolling over the Giant bullpen. David Peralta has it. And Aoki is in there with a leadoff double. This is the lineup for Bruce Bochy's San Francisco Giants.
I see Nori Aoki at the top. Joe Panik making his way to the plate right now. Good numbers against the D-backs this season. Angel Pagan batting third. Buster Posey cleaning up behind the plate. Brandon Belt at first base. Casey McGee at third base. Gregor Blanco in right field. Brandon Crawford at short. And Chris Heston, the righty, on the mound.
Aoki at second to lead off the ball game for the Giants. And here is Joe Panik. Digging the gold. That looks good. Tip of the cap, wag of the finger. You'll win 3 rings in 5 years. You can put a little gold on the uniforms.
Yeah, between the rings and the trophies and the front of the Giants uniform, there's a lot of gold in the house tonight.
Panik shoots that one down the right field line, but pulls it foul. And it's allowed strike 1. Take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively around Ruby De La Rosa tonight.
Very solid defense for the Diamondbacks. Only 4 errors as a team on the season. It'll be Peralta, Inciarte, and Trumbo left to right across the outfield. Lamb, Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Owings and Goldschmidt on the right side. Tuffy goes to wish behind the plate for Ruby De La Rosa.
1-1 to Panic. Drops that one into left field. Aoki will score. The Giants have taken a 1-0 lead. It's an RBI single. Well, they got their rings just before the game. They're trying to snap this 8-game losing streak and find some offense. They haven't lost 9 straight since 2006. And 2 batters in, they have a 1-0 lead.
And both the lefty hitters to start the game for the Giants, taking pitches away and driving them to the opposite field. Both of them elevated slightly. Ruby needs to get that ball down in the zone.
And more trouble steps up in the form of Angel Pagan. Pagan hitting .370, 5 extra base hits through 12 games. And he is always, it seems, the engine that makes this Giants team go. He has reached base safely in every game he started this year. And there's ball 1. Pagan, the OPS at .920. And he is red hot right now. 9 hits in his last 17 at bats.
A little concerned, partner. Have you seen the governor today?
The governor is, you know, the allergies have been kicking him a little bit, but he's back in fine form.
Well, the cruise ship is gone. I was just afraid he stowed away and is out at sea somewhere.
Halfway to the West Indies by now. The governor, Greg Schulte, in the radio booth. Just to our left. Mentioned that Angel Pagan, Bob, had a really tough time tracking that Goldie fly ball that was hit right at him to win the top of the first. Ender is out there, and you can see right now at this time of day, it's a battle for that center fielder and that right fielder.
Yeah, especially the center fielder on balls hit to their left as they move over toward the gap in right center field. They'll be looking right up into that afternoon sun.
3 balls and no strikes. A rough start here for Ruby. A 16-game hitting streak against the Diamondbacks. 3rd longest hit streak versus Arizona in D-backs history. Trailing only Jimmy Rollins and Alfonso Soriano. Posey's on deck. A 4-pitch walk. First 3 Giants have reached against Ruby De La Rosa. Mike Harkey.
This is one of those break up the rhythm meetings right here. Mike may have seen something mechanically that Ruby was doing wrong out there on the mound, but more than anything else, just kind of rinse this bad start out of your mouth and start over again here on Buster Posey. Can't do anything to bring back the first 2 base hits and that 4-pitch walk, but you can start making better pitches right now.
Well, Chip Hale pleased with the progress he has seen from Ruby De La Rosa so far. He got through 6 innings in his last time out, as we mentioned, against the Padres. A little better, Chip said. 6 innings is good, but you know, also Ruby will need to bear down a little bit, especially with 2 outs, and he's got to bear down right here. Already in a first inning mess, he has yet to record an out. But they thought the start against the Padres was definitely a step forward as part of his maturation process. He's got Panic at second, Pagan at first. No outs, a run in, and here's Buster Posey.
Good velocity at 96, but once again another pitch up above the top of the strike zone.
Buster at 225 through his first 12 games. Only 2 extra base hits so far. They're both home runs. Paul Goldschmidt playing with Panic at second behind Pagan at first, and then dancing over towards second to sort of fill that hole against the right-hand hitting Posey. There's a strike, 1-1.
Now, Buster Posey will hit the ball to all fields, but he's more likely to hit the hole between first and second than he is to hit it right down that first baseline. So Goldie trying to jump off that bag as far as he can after kind of bluffing behind the runner at first.
Yeah, he's sort of slide stepping over toward the second base bag. That one went off the bat for a foul and a strike. It's 1-2. Watch Goldie tap dance towards second base here as De La Rosa throws the pitch.
He starts out right behind Angel Pagan just to try to limit the amount of a lead that Angel can get over there at first base, and then shuffles off with the pitch to give himself as much range as possible.
A ball and 2 strikes. Tuffy Gozowish at it again behind the plate. It's even 2-2. Lost track of how many runs he saved.
Oh man, I don't know if we could even say he's doing it again. He's doing it still.
Hasn't stopped. Panic at second and Pagan at first. And their third P is up at the plate. Posey. He is 3 for his last 23 up there. Hitless last night. Foul tip. Tuffy Gozowish hangs on, and that's the first out for Ruby De La Rosa in the first.
Good changeup at 88 miles per hour, fouled right into the mid of Tuffy Gozowish for the first out of the inning, and a big out at that.
Well, he does have 2 runners on behind him, but he's getting into the part of the Giants order that's slumping right now. You see Bell 2 for 26 this year to open up the season, and Brandon Belt hitless in his last 18 at bats, and he looks at ball 1. Belt still does not have an extra base hit this year. He is 0 for 9 in the series with 3 strikeouts. Ruby trying to get out of this mess and limit the damage. Two 2-0. 96 misses that time. Ring ceremony day today at AT&T Park. Everybody got the hardware.
Well, including the fans got a replica World Series ring. They were lined up in every direction this afternoon waiting to get into AT&T Park.
I took the first bus, the first team bus. There were always 2, an early bus and a late bus. The first team bus from the hotel. We got to the ballpark about 2:10 this afternoon. So 4 hours before first pitch, and they were lined up down the street and around the corner trying to get in here. It looked like the Beatles were here or something outside. It's crazy. That was Candlestick Park, of course, Mitch Riggin. 2-1. In the air. Here's Ender fighting that sun. Boy, it is bright out there. And that's the second out.
Ender with the shades on out there in center field, looking up into that afternoon sun. Did a nice job of playing this ball kind of off to the side, so he didn't have to look right up into the sun. Good outfielders, occasionally they'll look funny as they get into position to make the play, but it's in order to keep the ball out of the sun until the very last instant.
Casey McGee just under 220 on the year. 0 for 2 with a walk last night. It's a big out for Ruby to get right here. Keep this thing 1-0. McGee back in the starting lineup last night. He missed 5 straight starts with a left knee strain. Panic at second, Pagan at first. Swing and a miss. De La Rosa's ahead 0-2.
You mentioned the knee injury for Casey McGee. I'd like to see a couple of the guys in the Diamondbacks lineup maybe try to bunt for a base hit. See how mobile he really is down there at third base. Good hard slider with downward action that time.
Bounced in the hole right to where Goldie kept moving, and he's perfectly positioned there to get the force on Pagan. And that ends the inning. But the Giants get one. They lead it 1-0. Made some good pitches there. Gave up the double to Aoki and the single to Panic to lead off the ball game. Giants got a run, but then did a nice job working himself out of the jam there.
Real nice job of damage control. Just couldn't get the ball down to the first 3 hitters, but the Buster Posey at bats seemed to get him back on track.
David Peralta in there against Chris Heston for the Giants, and he looks at strike 1. David, a big night last night. The 9-0 win, 3 hits including a pair of doubles, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. And back in the lineup tonight.
It seems like every time something good happens offensively for the D-backs, the outfielders are involved. First in the majors in runs and hits, second in extra base hits. I mean, A.J. Pollock, Ender Inciarte, Mark Trumbo, and David Peralta all getting it done offensively at the plate.
I thought the Padres were supposed to have all the good outfielders. Diamondbacks outfield doing very well. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Peralta. Shoots that one out to left field, but right at Nori Aoki. And that's 4 in a row set down by Heston. As you'll come up here, you'll notice on our graphics, we always put the stat lines up there for all the hitters. Here comes Mark Trumbo. Well, just got a great question on the Twitter from Edmund Rodriguez, and Edmund asks, what does OPS mean? And this is something that we put up on all our graphics this year. There it is on the right-hand side, a 778 OPS for Mark Trumbo. Well, OPS is on base percentage plus slugging percentage. How often is a guy getting on base, and how much damage is he doing at the plate in terms of the extra base hit? So it gives you, Edmund, a sense of more of a broader scope of offensive production than just batting average. And if you're asking, what's league average OPS? Well, it always varies, of course, but league average OPS generally about 730. So anything over 730 or so is over league average. And there's a little single for Mark Trumbo, who just keeps rolling along. Mark Trumbo. He's now got a 7-game hitting streak. First Diamondbacks hit tonight.
That slight shift by Brandon Crawford at shortstop hurt him that time. He was playing Trumbo over in the hole between third and short, and sounded like Mark may have broken his bat, but just muscled it up the middle of the field. You see where Crawford is positioned at the beginning of the play. Just can't quite get there. That one rolls through for a 1-out base hit.
There's Tuffy. Tuffy just over 190 for the year at the plate. And he was 1 for 6 in last night's ball game with an RBI single. He's got a pair of hits in the series. Chris Heston so far has shown that he'll work pretty consistently, 91, 92 tops on the radar gun, but his ball, as we've mentioned, does seem to have some real run on it. It's certainly not straight, and he's a whole lot more 2-seam than 4-seam these days, which has resulted in a lot of weak contact for him. He's got a pitch that tails away from lefties, eats up the right-hand hitters inside. And Heston said he picked up that hard sink from his pitching coach down in low A ball, pitching for the Augusta Green Jackets. And the pitching coach there was Steve Klein, the former major league reliever, and he really worked with Heston on developing that 2-seam sinker. And Tuffy's got a base hit. He knocks it into right. There's a ground ball for Heston, but that one sneaks through. And the Diamondbacks have back-to-back 1-out singles for Chris Owings.
Once again, not a full-blown shift, but Joe Panic cheating a little bit closer to second base there in anticipation of a possible double play, and Tuffy sneaks one by a Giants infielder.
So 2 on, 1 out for Chris Owings. A great night here last night for CO. Really good to see. Heston let that one run a little too far inside. Chris Owings came into the ball game last night stuck in a 3 for 29 to start the year. But Chris did so many things well last night. He was on base 3 times, 2 hits, a base on balls. He stole a base. He scored twice. Had his first multi-hit game of the year. Made 2 terrific defensive plays at second base. And had some very, very impressive routes around the bases. It was a great night. And you're hoping, of course, Bob, that was the night that kind of Frisio has it all snap into place for him.
Yeah, the igniter, that one ball game that kind of allows you to fall into rhythm with the game. There were times that Chris seemed to be working a little too hard, a little too quick. And we hear that phrase all the time in every sport, trying to slow the game down. And I think there were a few games in the early going where Chris was at 78 RPM and the rest of the game was moving at 33.
Well, he's now hit safely in 4 of his last 5, so it's starting to come around for Chris Owens. But he's down a ball and 2 strikes. And again, Heston, you'll see 91, 92 tops. He'd always had good sync with that 4-seam fastball. Mentioned working with Steve Klein at Augusta, and Steve Klein got him to work with that 2-seam grip to try and pick up even more movement. And Heston has done really well with it. It's full 3-2. And Heston says, you know, working with Steve Klein has been a big part of what he's been able to do success-wise. And Klein is now the pitching coach at AA Richmond. Nick Ahmed on deck. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out here in the second. Runners hold. That one is a strike 3.
My.
Lance Barrett rings up Owings.
Horrible call. That ball was never in the strike zone. Man, talk about a rally killer. Posey wants it low and away. Oh my.
Holy moly.
When did that ball ever cross the plate? Terrible call by Lance Barrett.
So now 2 on, 2 out for Nick Ahmed. And Lance Barrett is yelling at Chip Hale. No more.
You don't miss anymore then, Lance. How's that? We'll call it a deal. I won't bark at you anymore if you don't miss anymore.
Buster Posey keeps the base runners where they are. So looking here for a 2-out hit from Nick, who's 5 for 31 to start the year, just over 160 at the plate. Took an 0 for 5 last night, but had a pair of hits in Thursday's series opener. Two 2-0. Pitchers spot is due up next. Ruby De La Rosa in the on-deck circle with Trumbo in second and Gozawish at first. Three balls and no strikes. Ball 4. Bases are loaded for the pitcher with 2 down.
Yeah, hopefully Ruby will be able to make something happen with the bat right here. Get another teammate on the plate or get a teammate on the plate. But at worst, as we say all the time, you've cleared that pitcher spot. And even if he makes the last out of the inning, you roll around to the top of the order in the third.
Giants got a run in the home half of the first. Aoki doubled to lead off the ball game. Panic singled him home. And the Diamondbacks with 2 down in the top of the second trying to answer. They have the bases loaded for Ruby De La Rosa, 0 for 5 at the plate so far this year. Trumbo at third, Gozawish at second, and Ahmed at first. Ruby gets it on the ground, but Joe Panik is there, and Chris Heston leaves him loaded. Giants lead it 1-0. In part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. Back in San Francisco, set for the bottom of the second inning. Skipper!
Life is good.
Caught up in championship ring fever here, some more so than others, as the Giants celebrate their World Series championship. The cruise ship is ready if we want to sail out of here. Gregor Blanco leads off the second against Ruby De La Rosa, with Jake Lamb a couple of steps in on the grass at third for Blanco. He's just over 220 so far to start the year. Diamondbacks had the bases loaded, had 2 on with 1 out for Chris Owings, and got a questionable strike 3 call from plate umpire Lance Barrett. And then he had the pitcher coming up. That kind of just killed the rally. And so it's still 1-0. And Ruby behind on Blanco 2-0. Blanco one of just 4 Giant hits last night. He's hit safely in 5 of his last 6. Swing and a miss. It's 2-1. Drops that one in there. We showed you earlier. It's amazing how quickly things change here. How bright it was. Glaring sunlight for the center fielder. But now you can see Ender Inciarte almost completely in the shade out there. Just the warning track in center and right center now in the sunlight. That's what they're looking at. Good luck. De La Rosa goes full on the first batter of the inning. Blanco. It's 3-2. Got him. Second strikeout for Ruby. 1 down in the second.
Let's take a look at this date in baseball history, brought to you by Geico.
I was wondering when you were going to get to this.
As soon as possible after that horrible strike 3 call. Ed Rommel becomes the first major league umpire to wear glasses during a game at third base against with the Yankees Washington game, and you wish some of the current umpires would follow suit.
Boy, he must have just got buried that day back in 1956. Umpire walking out there with glasses. I bet they let him have it for years. Brandon Crawford really slumping right now. Crawford hitless last night, just 6 hits in 39 at bats to start the year. He's at 154. And as he steps in here is 1 for his last 28 at the plate. And sure enough, he lifts it in the air to left field. David Peralta backing up right in front of the warning track, and he's got it for the second out. So Ruby has now settled in a bit. He's retired 5 straight. And here's the pitcher, Chris Heston. I think, Bob, we're going to see nights over the course of this year and for years to come with Ruby where he's really, really going to look good. And there'll be other nights where he looks a lot less so. He's a little bit erratic. It's a high wire act at times, but his stuff, when we've seen it on, is really good.
He's got an explosive fastball when he's around the strike zone. He can sink the ball in those situations where he's looking for a grounder. He's got a swing and a miss changeup. And you're right, when he's feeling it in a good rhythm out there on the mound and has all of those pitches working on a given night, he could be unhittable.
A little bloop over his head that Owings cleans up, and De La Rosa has retired 6 in a row. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. We'll see Jake Lamb in the Diamondback third. They trail it 1-0. Arizona is brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, greatness in, greatness out, now available at your local Fry's. Well, there we are down there, AT&T Park, on the shores of McCovey Cove here in downtown San Francisco. Steve Berthume, Jody Jackson, and somewhere, Bob, out there is Jody. I'm told that Jody has procured a kayak and is heading out to sea.
To see what she can see.
And we'll check in with Jody at some point over the course of the ball game. May have to use the ship-to-shore radio, but we'll do the best we can. She's out there somewhere amongst the ocean tankers and the liners and the cruise ships and the whole thing. So I have the Coast Guard standing by. 0-2 on Ender and Ciarte. Reaches out and pokes it back to the mound. Heston's on it. 1 away. Well, Jody was right up against the water last night on the shore, looking at some kayak guys who were tailgating in their boats. And she thought, that looks like fun. So she's got a kayak and she's floating around out there someplace.
Yeah, watch the wake off of those big ships, though. That kayak could get flipped rather quickly.
If you see a flare go up from our booth here, we have a great view of the water from up high. Now call the truck. Here's strike one to Jake Lamb. Jake rounded out his first time. 11 hits to start the season for Jake Lamb, 5 for extra bases. There's a ball. A lot of discussion last season about Jake Lamb's swing, which got a little long last year when he first came up. But boy, things are going a lot better this year. He struck out, remember, 27 times in his first 68 major league at-bats last August. And the question was, would he demonstrate some plate discipline? Well, boy, has he ever. He's had 32 plate appearances this year, 6 walks and only 3 strikeouts. And the on-base percentage for Jake is near .550. So his learning curve is just off the charts right now. 2-2. Like he broke his bat, and one hops right to Panic. 2 down. 3 in a row now retired by Heston. Here's Goldie.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Paul Goldschmidt flying to center his first time. There's a strike alone. Goldie with a 5-game hit streak. He's got 2 hits in 10 at-bats so far in the series, including that big 3-run homer off Madison Bumgarner Thursday night. He's off there. It's even 1-1. Goldie and Mark Trumbo in the lineup together tonight. Mentioned earlier on this road trip, didn't see that a whole lot last year, only 39 times. Paul and Mark in the lineup together for the Diamondbacks. Goldie batting third today, Trumbo in the 5 spot, Peralta on deck. The dynamic duo, Gold Rumbo, as they're known on the Twitter.
Gold Rumbo.
That's kind of sexy. I like it, Gold Rumbo. Like a Bond villain. 2-2. And of course, the key for the Diamondbacks, one of them this year, is keep this guy in the lineup. Needs to stay healthy, the type of season that will allow Goldie to play 160 games or so, like he did 2 years ago. And Lance Barrett rings him up. Second strikeout for Chris Heston, both looking. He works a 1-2-3 third and leads it 1-0. nicely. He's retired the last 6 Giants he's faced, and a leadoff man, Nori Aoki, leads off the San Francisco third. Aoki started off the ball game against Ruby with a double into the left field corner. Joe Panik was up next. He singled Aoki home, and 2 batters in, it was 1-0 Giants. The first 3 reached for the Giants against Ruby. He walked Pagan, but then he has retired 6 in a row ever since, and he's ahead of Aoki 0-2. And he strikes him out. Third strikeout for Ruby De La Rosa, 1 down in the third.
Boy, that's exactly the way you should go after Nori Aoki. Show him a fastball somewhere he can't really do much damage with it, and then off-speed pitches down and away. Talked about it throughout the first 2 games of this series. He has so much movement in his swing. He's almost running down that first baseline as he swings.
Joe Panik had the RBI single in the first. His bat, which has really been just about the only one of the slumping Giants bats to come alive in this series, he's really picked it up. Panik was in a 3 for 29 going into Thursday's game, but he's had 6 hits and 11 at bats so far in this series. De La Rosa not messing around. He's ahead 0-2. So Panik heating up for Bruce Bochy. Right back to the mound. Ruby, it went right through him on that 1/2 time, and Panik's aboard.
Ruby got a little turned around on his follow through there. Wasn't really in good fielding position, only able to slow it down. It trickled behind the mound, and no chance for a play on Panik. That can square up just a little bit more. You see that right foot came across. He was actually facing first base, not in good fielding position. That'll go as an infield base hit for Joe Panik.
He was now 7 for 12 in the series. Here's Pagan, who walked his first time up. Ends a stretch of 7 straight retired by Ruby De La Rosa. That one gets through. Tuffy goes a wish, and Panik moves on. Well, it had to happen sooner or later.
Well, I was just about to say that's something you rarely, if ever, see. Kind of a spiked fastball off that inside corner of the plate, and Tuffy tried to reach across and backhand. It just didn't come up with it that time.
That's a passed ball charged to Tuffy Gozowich. So Panik is the runner at second with 1 out. 1-0 to Pagan.
Boy, and that hurts. You could ask Tuffy, would you rather have me pull one of your teeth with a pair of pliers or get a pass ball? He'd say, pull my teeth.
I don't think we'll see too many of those over the course of this year. Boy, that changeup.
That's a changeup at 85 to 88 miles per hour with some downward movement. Great arm speed.
We're going to see a lot of swings like that this year against Ruby De La Rosa's changeup. Look at this.
Yeah, when a guy throws in the mid to upper 90s, changeup should be in the mid to upper 80s, and just a great arm action. Gets a lot of tailing motion as it gets into the hitting area.
2 balls and a strike. 2-2 now.
There's another one cued right off the end of the bat.
We talked about, Bob, how that pitch for Ruby is so good he will double and triple up on it over the course of an at-bat.
Just gets a piece of it.
Throws you 2 or 3 of those in a row, then brings it 95, 96. That 96 looks like 106. Bounce to second. High hop for Chris Owings. And it moves into third now. 2 outs. So Pagan hits the ball to the right side. And here comes Buster Posey. Posey struck out his first time, 0 for 1. Mentioned that Posey has only 2 extra base hits all year. They're both home runs, and one of them was a homer in his first at bat against Ruby De La Rosa. That was last week at Chase Field.
Now they're waiting on him to turn off the video board in straightaway center field, just above the 399 mark. Buster was looking out there at a picture of himself. The little one below the scoreboard was actually lit up, and he stepped out of the box until they turned it off.
Broken bat, and that's going to drop in for an RBI hit. 2-0. Well, there's the old saying, the bat died a hero, and that's certainly the case here.
Another good changeup. Buster hits it right out on the very end of the bat, causing it to shatter. The barrel went flying over on the third base side in foul territory, but the ball lands on the grass out there in shallow left.
6th RBI this year for Buster Posey. Sharing a smile down there with Paul Goldschmidt. And here's Brandon Belt, who flied out his first time. Brandon Belt, 5th season in the big leagues. GM Brian Sabian said this spring, when Belt was just tearing the cover off the ball in Cactus League play, that they are waiting on a bust-out season from Brandon Belt this year. And Sabian thought that Belt might be poised to do it this season. He's 26 years old, Belt. He turns 27. Let's see, coming up on Monday. There's Brian Sabian, one of the many giant dignitaries here to get their World Series rings. The architect.
Now, one thing that consistently hurts Brandon Belt is this defensive pull shift.
Lifts it the other way. Here comes Peralta from left, and he's got it. And Bob, there's good news. We have found Jody Jackson lost at sea, and we'll have a report from the ocean when we come back.
Down on the left field side of the stadium over to McCovey Cove, and it is a nice short 50-minute paddle down here. I did, though, almost make a wrong turn. I made some new friends, Ann and Ann, who directed me to go the right way. And I kid you not, a seagull actually landed right on the front of my boat. I wish he would come on back. That was pretty cool. No word on if it's the actual seagull that dropped the chicken on the front of the mound. But guys, a beautiful day out here. Giants fans certainly love to do this on a semi-regular basis. It's fun, certainly, to be out here today.
Thank you, Jody. Be careful out there. It's good to see she's already got a kayak sponsorship deal. That's nice work by the marketing people. Peralta lifts that in the air high and deep out toward Jody Jackson in the ocean. And that ball is gone. A home run. David Peralta takes it out of here. His second home run of the year. And as soon as we go to Jody in the kayak, Bob, we hit it out to right. And the Diamondbacks are on the board. It's 2-1. The lucky kayak.
Yeah. We have to put Jody out there every game we come to San Francisco. Got a fastball inside part of the plate. That ball just continued to carry. The wind is blowing out to right center field right now. And just tucks it into that front row above the railing out there in right field.
Well, David, 3 hits last night, a pair of doubles. He drove in 2. And now he's got his second homer of the year, and the Diamondbacks on the board. It's 2-1. Here's Mark Trumbo, who singled his first time up.
Attaboy.
Those Diamondbacks outfielders, talked about that earlier in the ball game. The production from this group has been tremendous. There's a strike. Jody, did you, first of all, can you hear us out there?
I can hear you guys perfectly, which made my here just perfect. The ball game, Dave. So
there's a pop up behind the mound. Panic is under it. Now, were you able to tell from where you are what's going on in here?
Well, I actually just talked to Ted, who rented me this kayak. He said that's a home run, right? He's listening to the radio locally. I'm listening to you guys. So it was quiet. We've heard the cheers, you know, when something good happened for the Giants, but there wasn't much for that Peralta home run. So.
Hopefully we can keep quieting the crowd here.
Exactly.
Is it cold out there?
It's really not bad. For some reason, it's probably just because the wall of the Levi's Landing, it keeps a little bit of the wind out. So it's not too bad out here.
No unsavory characters out there floating around, are there?
I don't see Jack at this crew here, although I'd love a blue cheeseburger right now. But I've worked up an appetite. It is a little bit of an arm workout.
To take a kayak class.
My form is too good.
Well, the intrepid Jody Jackson somewhere lost at sea.
Yeah, got to give her props. Way to go, Jody.
This is fun. Bob, you never did this?
No.
In your year?
No.
Yeah.
He's a land animal, really.
Jody, do you have a fishing pole with you?
I do not. I have pizza gear, so without pizza and fish, I guess it's no use for you.
Yeah, no good.
All right, thank you, Jody. Be careful out there. If you run into the Edmund Fitzgerald, let us know.
Yeah. I was thinking more Jaws. You know, I'm going to need a bigger boat.
Or Scheider. Richard Dreyfuss. Strike 2. Duffy goes a wish after Trumbo popped up.
That strike zone is about as wide as McCovey Cove today. We've seen a breaking ball off the inside part of the plate called a strike, and that little comeback fastball on the outside corner was a strike.
Plug out in center, 2 down. And there's Chris Owings, who was rung up on a somewhat more than questionable called strike 3 by Lance Barrett to record the second out in the second. Kind of snuffed out a D-back rally, that called strike 3. Ahmed walked after that to load him up, and then Ruby De La Rosa grounded out to end the inning. So here's CO. Bouncer to third. Casey McGee is there. And that's the inning. But Chris Heston serves up his first home run this season for David Peralta. It's his second, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Be sure to get your Diamondbacks tickets right now. Next Saturday, April 25th, fans can get the Paul Goldschmidt cap courtesy of Sanderson Ford. On Saturday, May 9th, the Josh Comenter bobblehead courtesy of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. And on May 24th, the D-backs Fedora cap courtesy of Gila River Casinos. Buy your tickets now at dbacks.com. Casey McGee leads off the Giant fourth. 2-1 now. David Peralta, his second home run of the year, has put the Diamondbacks on the board. McGee, Blanco, Crawford 6, 7, and 8 against Ruby De La Rosa. Through first pitch strikes to 3 of the 5 he faced in the last inning, but he's behind McGee to lead off the fourth. Ruby's pretty good tonight.
His stuff is crisp. Saw a 1-0 slider there to get back in the count, then comes back with another nasty changeup to get a swing and a miss, running the count to 1-2.
Called strike 3. 4 strikeouts now for Ruby. 1 down in the fourth.
That's that 107-mile-an-hour fastball you're talking about. After a slow slider and a slower changeup, he just rears back and throws 196 right down the middle of the plate, freezing a good fastball hitter.
96 right at the knees. I mean, when this guy is on, it can be electric. Here's Gregor Blanco, who was a strikeout victim his first time up. I mean, Ruby had some very encouraging starts with Boston last year through the middle of the season. He got called up from AAA Pawtucket at the end of May last year, and through his first 7 starts pitched to a 2.64 ERA. There's a strike, and he was just flat out dominant at times and showed an ability to consistently pitch pretty deep into the ball game. But then he kind of ran out of gas down the stretch last year. There's another strike. Just firing him in there right now. He won his last game August 10th last year, and then went 0-4 in his final 8 appearances, and lost his last 3 starts all in September. But he had that run through the middle of the summer where he looked really good, and we're seeing that guy for the most part tonight. And Chip Hale has said De La Rosa has proven enough to the coaches, even so far in the limited amount of time they've had him here, to make them believe they think this guy is a difference maker. He can be a power guy in this rotation, and a nice mix with the Comenters and the Hellicksons and the Andersons in this group. Some guys who are more finesse pitchers. This guy can bring the heat.
Yeah, Ruby can finesse you too with that changeup and slider, but when push comes to shove, he's got 96 in his back pocket.
And you know, he's had a few drop in on him tonight, and that's another one. Blanco thinks about trying to pull an Inciarte, but he'll go back to first. Thought about stretching it for an extra base, but he's got a 1-out single. Yeah, the Posey broken bat RBI in the third, and now a little bloop by Blanco here.
Another ball hit off the end of the bat. Yeah, you saw him pull up as he got to first base and then tried to turn on the Jets. We used to call that ghosting an outfielder. He looks up, he sees you slowing down before you get to the bag, and then you lower your head to pick up the baseball, and he turns it on and tries to advance an extra base, but Trumbo didn't bite that time.
Well, Blanco has now hit safely in 6 of his last 7. He's at first with 1 out for Brandon Crawford, who flied out his first time up. Here's some boat horns out there. I hope Jody hasn't drifted into the shipping lanes. This is in the air, hit deep to right field. Trumbo backing up, looking up, and it is gone. Brandon Crawford, his 3rd home run, and the Giants have a 4-1 lead. Well, he was 0 for 23 going into Thursday's game. He got a 2-run homer in the 7th of that ball game, and he's got a 2-run homer in the 4th here tonight. And that is the 4th home run given up this year by Ruby De La Rosa. Brandon Crawford. Two, 97 from Ruby. And he strikes out Heston with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. That's 5 strikeouts.
Well, we have a moment. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the game. Hey, rain on the Giants parade. World Series ring ceremony here today. A lot of hoopla. Ballpark full of fans. Send them home unhappy. And let's try to get a winning road trip. Last year, the Diamondbacks were 19 games under 500 on the road. The sooner you can establish that you're going to win away from your home ballpark, the better your chances of having a good season.
Aoki right back up the box and into center. He's 2 for 3. Now 7 hits for the Giants.
And in, that's the location where Aoki can handle a good fastball. We mentioned his approach at the plate, a lot of moving parts, kind of steps in the bucket down that first base line and pitches from the middle of the plate in. He can reach with that bailout swing.
Well, here's Joe Panik, who is 2 for 2 and 7 for 12 in the series so far. His bat has come alive against the Diamondbacks. If the Diamondbacks can get a win here, they will clinch a winning record on this 7-game road trip. And they will clinch another series win, but they're going to have to come back from down 4-1. That's out of play. And this guy does not strike out. He's a tough out, Joe Panik. Last year came up mid-season, and as a rookie, only 33 strikeouts and just under 270 at bats. And he's been beating up the D-backs so far this year.
Aoki is a stolen base threat over there at first. He stole 30 in a season for the Milwaukee Brewers a few years ago, 20 the season after that, and 17 last year for the Kansas City Royals. Had a 40 stolen base season playing over in Japan.
3 steals and 4 attempts this season. Aoki bluffs, and that pitch misses inside at 95. It's 1-1. Ruby De La Rosa from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, signed by the Dodgers back in '07. Diamondbacks got him in December along with Alan Webster from the Red Sox in the Wade Miley deal. 2 balls and 1 strike to Panik. He lifts it in the air to right field, but playable for Trumbo. Coming in, still on the run, and he's got it. Brandon Crawford, a 2-run homer, makes it a 4-1 ball game. We will go back out to sea and check in with Jody Jackson after this.
hardest splash hits hit all time.
It's amazing. Thank you, Dave.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Jody making friends out there. Nick Ahmed leads off the 5th against Chris Heston. Now 4-1 Giants. And they only count, of course, the home team splash hits here. They don't put it up on the board when the visiting team hits one into McCovey Cove. They only count the Giants home runs there. So they're up to 68 in the history of this ballpark. As Nick Ahmed strikes out. Although we keep track, Bob, when a Diamondback hits one into McCovey Cove, and this was the 101st ever hit out there by home and visiting players. Last September, Ender Inciarte hit one right about where Jody is now.
Yeah, Ender not the guy you would think to reach McCovey Cove, but line drive, cleared the fence, and carried all the way out to the water.
Here's Ruby De La Rosa. Rounded out his first time. And Ender's on deck. Strike 2 from Chris Heston. Heston's 6 seasons in the Giants minor league system. He is taking a rotation spot of the injured Matt Cain. And he gets De La Rosa to chase that one, his 4th strikeout. He's now retired 5 in a row since the Peralta homer. Cain is out. He's on the DL with a flexor tendon strain in his throwing arm. And Heston is, he's just been their best pitcher, flat out. You can't argue that point to this early point in the year. And of course, a lot of that has to do with Buster Posey back there. That helps. Heston has a ton of faith in Posey. Here's Inciarte. Ender 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice. Heston said, having Buster back there, you don't have to think about stuff. You just trust what he puts down. And so for Heston or any young pitcher, this then just becomes a matter of making your pitch.
Execute the pitch.
And we've heard Archie Bradley talk about that with Tuffy Gozawish as well. Takes the worry out of things. And we got so much to worry about as it is as a rookie pitcher out there.
Yeah, the more pitchers think, the more trouble they get in. You just want them to trust their mechanics, trust their fundamentals, and execute pitches. Try to think along with hitters. Well, let's see. I threw him a first pitch fastball, so he's probably looking for something off speed. So I'll throw him another fastball. You start thinking that way out there on the mound, you can get yourself in all kinds of trouble.
Don't think, Meat. You can only hurt the ball club. Inciarte slams that out to center. Pagan back it up, spinning around, but he's got it. And Heston has retired 6 in a row since the Peralta homer. He's got a 4-1 lead. Sponsorship is presented by Chevrolet. A 3-hour tour. Is Jody going to make it back in 3 hours? She's out there. So there she is, right in the middle of your screen, all by herself.
You know, if she takes a right, she could go down to Candlestick Park, you know, just a few miles down the bay there.
She'll end up out there with a volleyball named Wilson. That could be trouble. She's drifted out into sea so far. We've only got one cameraman that can still find her. As Pagan leads off the Giant fifth. You're always down there by the water, but always on the shore with a fishing pole, right?
Yeah.
You don't go out onto the boat.
I go out onto a lake. I just have issues with salt water and areas where you can't see the shore.
I think Jody's headed there.
Yeah.
One more strong wind gust and that could be it. Ruby De La Rosa down 4-1 here in the Giant fifth.
I'm strictly a freshwater fisherman. I went out 17 miles off the coast to Half Moon Bay fishing for salmon when I lived here in San Francisco. That one's grounded down to Jake Lamb III, no problem. And got seasick about a mile offshore. And it's not like they can pull over and let you off.
You're on there, man.
You're stuck. You are there for the duration. And boy, it was one of the most miserable days of my life. And I haven't been back on the sea since.
Well, why would you leave? Comfortable here in the ballpark. Cool night, though. And the sun going down. Buster Posey, an RBI single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. There's a strike. Ruby still throwing hard, mid-90s. Another 95-mile-an-hour from Ruby, and it's 0-2. Look out, right over the head of Bill Hayes down there, the first base coach. And it's up to Dan Isonia to clean up that mess. Slight difference in career games, bottom column, but a lot to like with both guys.
Both have nicknames.
Gerald Dempsey Posey. From Leesburg, Georgia, Buster Posey played at Florida State. First round pick in the 08 draft by the Giants. The 5th player selected overall. Buster has always been a baseball player. He played at Florida State, as I mentioned, and once in a game against Savannah State. Posey played all 9 positions. Used 4 different gloves in the game, and oh, by the way, hit a grand slam in that game. Led the nation in hitting one year at Florida State. Hit 467. And that was while he was learning to catch. He started out there. He was an All-America shortstop. And his coach, Mike Martin, said, this guy's a great leader. I got to make him the catcher. And Buster never played catcher. So he just got back there and learned how to do it. And it was almost like, talk about duck to water. That was it. He was in. .75 pitches now for Ruby. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Buster Posey. There it is. Called strike 3 at 98. 6 strikeouts for De La Rosa. 2 down in the 5th.
Had some tailing action. Maybe didn't quite get back to the corner there, but at 98 miles an hour, I'm amazed it moved at all. He throws so hard and still gets tailing, sinking action on that fastball.
A lot of ship traffic out there. Watch out, Jody. Got that big cruise ship out there. I think the governor's actually broadcasting the game from that ship. And the shift is on for Belts.
We've seen Brandon Belt hit right into the teeth of that shift a couple of times already in this series.
He is hitless in his last 20 at bats. That's funny. Belt has always killed the Diamondbacks. He's hit over 290 for his career versus Arizona, including 9 home runs. But so far this season against the D-backs, Brandon Belt 1 for 17. And Ruby falls behind 3-0. 1 for 15 at the start of play today. He is flat out twice. Trio misses. So 2 outs in the inning for Ruby De La Rosa, then a 4-pitch walk to Belt, and that brings up Casey McGee. Second walk issued by De La Rosa. He's got 6 strikeouts. Casey McGee is 0 for 2. He hit into a fielder's choice and struck out looking his last time up. Took something off. Big swing and a miss. 0-1. You've seen 98. How about 84?
Yeah, first pitch slider. Starts it right over the heart of the plate. A little downward action. Gets McGee to swing right over the top.
What a difference there. 98 and 79. Much of the spring training discussion around Casey McGee is well, how are you going to replace the Panda? They love the Panda in San Francisco. It's a lot to take on. Giants fans here always wearing Panda gear with the hats and everything. Sandoval now in Boston. They're still showing up dressed as Kung Fu Panda. So if he can't quite hold on to the foul tip.
Yeah, undoubtedly Panda, one of the most popular Giants during their World Series runs over the last 5 years. But you talk to some people close to the ball club and they say as many big hits as he had to win games or to get him back into ball games, he had a lot of at bats where he popped up on the first pitch with runners in scoring position. A very hyper aggressive hitter at the plate. McGee a little more patient, will take some walks, work some counts.
Bounces that one in the hole and into right. Belt will head for third and he'll get there. Well, McGee is a good hitter. He uses the whole field, not the dead pull hitter he used to be before he went to Japan. And they're on the corners with 2 down now for Gregor Blanco.
And he'll hit to the situation. He knows where the holes are defensively. You see Goldie holding on the runner at first base. Big hole on the right side of the infield. You don't even have to hit it well to get a base hit into right field.
Mike Harkey coming out to the mound. Diamondbacks have been out hit 8-3 now. They trail at 4-1. Giants scored first in the bottom of the first. Aoki led off the San Francisco ball game with a double. Panic followed that with a single, and it was 1-0. Diamondbacks answered in the top of the fourth. David Peralta, a home run out to right field, his second of the year. That made it 2-1, but then Brandon Crawford in the home half answered with a 2-run homer, his third, and it's 4-1. I don't think Blanco will get a letter because we just had a mound visit, but Blanco was among the first few major leaguers to get a warning letter from MLB about not staying in the batter's box. So we'll keep an eye on that here as Belt is standing at third. And McGee's at first with 2 outs. Blanco is one of several Giants players to get the MLB warning letters regarding the new pace of game initiative, requiring them to keep at least 1 foot in the box at all times. With certain exceptions like that, a swing and a miss. Blanco said, you know, if they make the rule, you got to follow it, but he admitted it's going to be hard because when you're hitting, you're focusing on one thing. Now you got to think about other things like staying in the box. You can't think about the pitches and everything you were talking about that run through your head while you're up there.
You guys just have to make their pre-swing routine a little more abbreviated. You know, not
quite as much drama and acting and walking around in the on-deck circle and fixing your gloves, and fixing your helmet, and get some pine tar on your hands, and then fix your gloves again.
See right there, he kept the foot in the box after taking a pitch. That's what you're supposed to do. It's going to take a while, there's no question. Here's the 1-1. Now you can step out after you swing and foul it off. There are certain exceptions, of course. We'll talk about that. The exceptions are swinging at a pitch if the hitter is brushed back by the pitch, if there's a wild pitch, or if the umpire grants time. That misses away. It's 2-2. Now there is a sort of a weird loophole in there. You can keep 1 foot in like Blanco's doing right now, and at the same time do all the usual stuff, adjust your gloves and do all that stuff that slows the game down. But if you have your foot in the box and still do that, you're okay. That is not considered to be a violation of the new rule. So there are ways around it. Blows it right by him at 96 to strand 2, and Ruby is out of the 5th. Bob, we have video of the last time you were fishing, and you fought that monster for a couple of hours and reeled him in.
That's not bait.
Cox Communications is set to take you to a Diamondbacks game, fans. Just stop by this month's participating Cox Solutions store at the Tempe Marketplace, and you can enter for a chance to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. You'll get round-trip transportation to the Diamondbacks game on May the 9th. And registration ends next Saturday, so you got a week here. For more information, visit FoxSportsArizona.com. Jake Lamb leads off the Diamondbacks 6th against Chris Heston, who's retired 6 in a row. Lamb, Goldie, and Peralta 2, 3, and 4. Jody can crash the wedding or crash into the wedding.
Get down.
That's a foul ball. Jody Jackson out there in her kayak. Apparently they're having a ceremony out there. Did you go on the, I'm trying to remember, I don't think you did go on the Sydney Harbor cruise with us, did you?
No.
Yeah, you even skipped that last year. I just thought of that.
I was with you in spirit. I just didn't want to get out there on the boat, especially in a foreign country, for crying out loud.
Lord knows what could happen. I just thought of that looking at the boat, because we cruised around Sydney Harbor. The Diamondbacks did a great job of scheduling all these activities for us in Sydney last year, and we got to cruise around the harbor, go under the bridge, by the Opera House, the whole thing on a boat just like that. And it just realized that you weren't even on that.
I was the guy up on the bridge throwing chicken tenders at you.
Crawford throws out Lamb. 7 straight retired by Heston. Now it all comes together. Here's Goldie 0 for 2. Chris Heston had a really good spring training. The Giants, they had injuries in their rotation. Peavy and Kane, everybody. So Heston stepped in and stepped up. That start against the Diamondbacks last week at Chase, just the second big league start of his career. And he was really good. 3 hits in 6 innings. And he just turned 27 about a week ago. And did very well in the start after that. That was Monday against the Rockies right here at AT&T Park. And he got stuck with a loss, but deserved a lot better. Got no run support. 7 innings against Colorado. Gave up just 2 runs on 7 hits and had 5 strikeouts. 60 of his 90 pitches for strikes, but he got the loss in a 2-0 Rockies win. This is there, and it's 2-1 to Goldie. And Heston was pretty impressive in Scottsdale this spring. 15 innings, gave up just 10 hits. And he has built on that success in the regular season, now at 80 pitches. And that's a strike. It's 2-2. And he said, look, you have a little bit of success in spring or anywhere. It just helps your confidence. And he's been able to ride that as long as possible. 2-2 to Goldie. Belts that one into left, and that's a fair ball down the line. Goldschmidt will hustle into second. Aoki picked it up pretty quickly out there, but Goldie's in there with his second double. You said it last night, Bob. Every time he hits the ball, it just comes off the bat like a rocket.
I mean, a steady diet of slow sliders, and Heston tried to sneak a fastball by him, and Goldie just smacked it out there into left field. Everything he hits is right off of the barrel. Really nice pop-up slide out there at second base. Second double of the season for Goldie.
And here's Peralta, who homered his last time up. Diamondbacks trying to get in this thing. That's their 4th hit. Trying to get back into it. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Peralta leads off the 4th.
Hey, he hit it well, no doubt about it, but it kind of caught me by surprise how far it carried. We talked about the ball game last night. It was not carrying at all in any direction in this ballpark, but David took advantage of a little bit of tailwind blowing out to right center and just snuck that one into the bleachers.
His bat's coming alive. 3 hits last night, including a pair of doubles. He had 2 RBIs. And a homer in his last at bat tonight. He's 1 for 2 as he steps in here. 2 balls and no strikes. Bounce to first. Bell has it. Goldschmidt moves up to third. 2 down. Brings up Mark Trumbo. Mark had the night off last night. He was 1 for 4 Thursday and opened up the Diamondbacks scoring with a home run in the 2nd inning off Madison Bumgarner that was absolutely mashed. His first home run of the year and his first career home run in this ballpark. He singled in the 2nd tonight. He's 1 for 2.
Well, against that Heston sinker, this should be a good matchup for Mark. He likes that ball down.
He's got a 7-game hitting streak. There's a strike on 1. And Mark, counting tonight, has now started 10 games for the Diamondbacks this year. He's hit safely in 9 of them. Goldie at third, 2 outs. This guy's tough on right-handers. Just seems like he can get in there with that 2-seam, in on the hands.
His combination of pitches and the movement on those pitches, the sinker down and into a righty, the hard slider down and away from a righty.
He's ahead of Trumbo. No balls and 2 strikes. A little tapper out in front of the plate. Posey's on it, and he throws him out. So Heston strands the 1-out double. He leads it 4-1. With the D-backs value pack, for only $19, you'll get a ticket to the game, a Subway sandwich, a Pepsi, and a coupon for a free cookie. The value pack is available for any game this year, and you can buy one right now online at dbacks.com/value. There's assistant trainer Ryan DePanfilo in the Diamondback dugout. Everybody bundled up, getting cold here. As we start the Giants' sixth, Brandon Crawford, a 2-run homers last time up. He's 1 for 2. Giants lead at 4-1. They have out-hit the Diamondbacks 8-4. Brandon Crawford, the bat has been slumping. He was in a 1 for 29 before this at bat in the 4th. And the 1 was a home run Thursday.
Well, Crawford is a dead fastball hitter. When I asked Mike Krukow and Dwayne Kuiper why he had been slumping so badly, they said everybody's just throwing him junk. Lots of slow breaking balls, lots of straight changeups. Throw the fastball off the plate where he can't get to it, and then come right back with more off-speed stuff. He's always been a really good fastball hitter.
He has become a little more of a run producer in this lineup. Last year's 69 RBIs, more than 20 over his previous career best. And he admits, being part of a couple of World Series championships will give you some sense of comfort up there. You can ride out the highs and the lows a little easier. That's in the dirt, 1 and 2.
Well, his reputation when he came to the major leagues was a little bit like Nick Ahmed, a guy with a great glove, real knowledgeable, solid fundamental player, and whatever you get with the bat is a bonus. But he wants to be more than that, just like Nick wants to be more than a defender.
A ball and 2 strikes. Ruby creeping up on 100 pitches here in the 6th. Well, he'll belt the ball every now and then, as we've seen Brandon Crawford. Drove the ball more consistently last year. Had 10 home runs, 10 triples, both career highs. That's out of play. I'm a little concerned, BB. We haven't heard from Jody in a while. Does he get caught in a current out there?
She's down about Santa Cruz right now.
Trying
on her way south.
Trying to hitch back. See if the boys in the truck can locate Jody Jackson, who's out there in a kayak. Nick Ahmed, the backhander. 1 down. Brings up the pitcher, Chris Heston. There's Joe. Oh, she's way out there now. Way out of microphone range.
She thought the A's were playing a home game today, so she went straight across the bay and was trying to catch some of that game.
I'm pretty impressed. She's out there, man. That's a long way from the ballpark. Heston 0 for 2. He struck out his last time up. Right back to the mound. Ruby has it. Not sure what happened on that lollipop throw to first.
The reason I caught my breath there, sometimes you throw that little lollipop throw to the first baseman and the ball gets up in the lights here.
Yeah.
We've seen outfielders try to duck under those humpback liners. Well, occasionally this little lollipop toss to first base will get up in the lights too. Let's give him a nice firm toss over there.
It's all right. No hurry. He set himself, but then slightly uncomfortable feeling watching that one. 2 down, 4-0. He was 2 for 3. And De La Rosa about to throw pitch number 100 on the evening. Diamondback bullpen is quiet. It was quiet all night last night. Josh Colementor, a 4-hit shutout, his 2nd career shutout. There he is. He was outstanding. It's amazing to be able to pitch a game like that, a 4-hit shutout with only 2 strikeouts. Little flare into shallow left. Peralta coming in. Ahmed's out there. David has it. And it's a 1-2-3-6. Diamondbacks trail the Giants 4-1. After the Diamondbacks had run through their entire bullpen in the series opener on Thursday, all 7 relievers. Colementor was actually warming up in that game Thursday, but came out Friday night and tossed a 4-hit shutout, his second career shutout, and it was history. In fact, it was the first time in Diamondbacks history that they got a complete game from their starting pitcher the night after using 7 or more relievers. Not the next game, but the next night. And there have been, over the last few years, it hadn't happened a lot. In fact, it has not happened since 2011. That was the last time that a National League team had to throw 7 or more relievers one night and then get a complete game from their starter the next night. And Josh Colementor did something last night that had never happened in Diamondbacks history and hadn't happened in the National League in 4 years. Evan Marshall on his birthday will start throwing in the Diamondback bullpen.
Well, that old saying, just what the doctor ordered, that certainly fit Josh to a T last night. That bullpen was operating on fumes. Short outing last night, and you're probably looking at some roster moves to get some fresh arms up here.
Well, Chip Hale said that after the ball game, that they had to use Josh Colementor in relief, and he was warming up. They would have had to call somebody up to start the game last night. And Scherzer pops up. And that's 1 out in the 7th. Evan Marshall, who turns 25 years old today. Finally down there, you know, Mark Reed's got something to do. Reeder was quiet all last night. Nobody to warm up. And he's been quiet through 6 innings so far. But here in the 7th, he'll warm up Evan Marshall. Bullpen catcher Mark Reed. Chris Owings 0 for 2. Right back to the mound. CO jumps on the first pitch. 2 outs. Brings up Nick Ahmed. Chris Heston doing it again here for the Giants, BB.
Hey, fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. Forget Chris Heston. The day after every D-backs win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Heston so far just the 1 run on 4 hits through 6 2/3. There's strike 1 to Nick Ahmed. Nick has walked and struck out 0 for 1. Heston in that start against the Diamondbacks last week. Just 3 hits in 6 innings. He's a strike away here from going through 7, giving up only 4 hits. He has had the Diamondbacks number so far this year in 2 starts. 0-2 to Ahmed. A 12th round pick out of East Carolina, Chris Heston. Got him. An 8-pitch 7th. We stretch at AT&T Park. Diamondbacks trail it 4-1. Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around weekdays at 4 on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom 7. Ruby De La Rosa over 100 pitches. There's strike 1 to Joe Panik, who's 2 for 3, a pair of singles. Ruby 4 runs, 3 earned on 8 hits through 6 so far. He has walked 2 and struck out 7. And one that got him was the 2-run homer by Crawford in the 4th. And other than that one big mistake, Bob, I think Ruby's been pretty impressive here. A lot to like.
Yeah, a lot to like tonight.
Evan Marshall continues to warm up in the Diamondback bullpen. And De La Rosa falls behind the leadoff man in the 7th, 3-1. Lifts it out to right center field. Playable for Trumbo, who calls off Inciarte. Hey, fans, follow the Diamondbacks all season long with MLB.com at Bat. That's the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up at the moment. At any moment, it has in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablets. Angel Pagan 0 for 2. He walked in the 1st. And that's news in and of itself. Pagan, a 16-game hitting streak against the Diamondbacks. But hitless so far tonight. There you see the record is Jimmy Rollins. That streak ended about 4 years ago. Soriano 2nd. And Pagan, who win this series, moved past Moises Alou. Wasn't easy for Pagan to extend that streak. Last night he had one of the Giants' 4 hits. And so far through 7, Chris Heston has given up only 4 hits to the Diamondbacks. One of them, David Peralta's home run in the 4th. 2-1 misses. It's 3 balls in the strike. He's gone to 3 balls on the first 2 batters here in the 7th. Diamondback Live postgame show. If we could ever get Jody Jackson back here, follows our ball game. Jody floating around in the ocean someplace. With De La Rosa now at 110 pitches. Coming off a 24-pitch 5th inning when he got into some trouble. Pagan lifts that one to right center again. Trumbo calls off Inciarte, and he's got it 2 down. Brings up Buster Posey. Ruby trying to get through 7 here. Marshall is ready in the bullpen. Posey 1 for 3, an RBI single in the 3rd. He has struck out twice.
Now this will undoubtedly be it for Ruby De La Rosa. His spot is due to lead up in the, or lead off rather, in the top half of the 8th.
Just foul down third base line, says Chris Siegel.
Well, sometimes it's not so much how you pitch as a starting pitcher, it's when you pitch. Bump heads against Chris Heston on top of his game tonight. Very little margin for error.
0-2. Well, Ruby, since that Crawford homer with 1 out in the 4th, has given up just 2 hits, both singles. 9 times he's been ahead 0-2 in the count tonight. A good pitch mix from Ruby. Seeing a little bit of everything. Just misses there at 97. It's 1-2. He has walked 2. He has struck out 7. Buster Posey reaches out, lifts that into center. for a 2-out single. The 9th Giants hit. And Posey's 2 for 4. Here comes Chip Hale. Looks like that's going to be it. Well, pretty nice effort tonight from Ruby De La Rosa. 115 pitches. He goes 6 2/3. And he's responsible for 1 base runner. The birthday boy, Evan Marshall, on his way in. Back after this. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts, Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. And by First Bank, member of the FDIC. We're in San Francisco. Evan Marshall on this day 25 years ago, born only about 6-7 miles from here in Sunnydale, California. Evan went to Homestead High School in Cupertino, which is about 40 miles from AT&T Park. And Evan Marshall, on his 25th birthday today, is in the ball game, trying to get Brandon Belt to end the 7th. On in relief of Ruby De La Rosa. Belt is 0 for 2. He walked his last time up. And he's up there at 0-71 on the year, hitless in his last 20 at-bats. De La Rosa responsible for the runner Posey at first with 2 outs. And he hits it away from the shift and into left, a base hit. And Brandon Belt these days will take anything he can get.
He's had no luck trying to beat the shift to right field, so this time he just takes a pitch out over the plate and shoots it to the opposite field. This has kind of been a recurring issue for Evan Marshall this year. He hasn't missed many bats, given up 8 hits in 4 innings of work.
Location?
I think especially fastball location. It seems his changeup and his breaking pitch, he's able to command those a little better than he can his fastball. He's made a lot of mistakes in the middle of the plate.
Casey McGee singled his last time up.
That looked to be a cross-up, just watching Tuffy's body language back there behind home plate. He was expecting a fastball. That ball took the break right at the very end. He makes a nice adjustment to catch the ball, but this is not the pitch he was expecting.
Yikes. He still catches it. It's unbelievable. McGee's another local guy. Casey McGee, he grew up about an hour from San Francisco, Santa Cruz. So he was thrilled to come back to the Bay Area. Said coming to the Giants just felt right. He was a Miami Marlin last year. 2 years ago, he was playing in Japan. Marshall ahead 0-2. That one kicks away from Tuffy in the dirt, and Posey and Belt move up. That's a wild pitch charge to Evan Marshall.
Pulled the changeup over there in that left-handed batter's box.
Second and third, 2 outs, a ball and 2 strikes to Casey McGee. Oliver Perez warming in the Diamondback bullpen. There's a tapper to shortstop. Nick Ahmed sets and throws, and Marshall strands 2. We are through 7. D-backs trail at 4-1. The fourth with a solo shot, his second of the year, and that has been all the Diamondbacks scoring against rookie Chris Heston, who was so good against Arizona last week at Chase Field. He's been even better here tonight, Bob.
Yeah, he's had a better breaking ball. I said at the top of the show he hasn't been throwing as many sliders, but he's had a good one working tonight and has gone to it a lot. Mixed in some change-ups. That heavy sinking fastball has gotten him a lot of ground balls in this game.
He's been a tough customer for the Diamondbacks in 2 starts so far, and he's out there to start the 8th. Pitcher spot will lead it off for the Diamondbacks, and we'll see A.J. Pollock take the at-bat. He'll hit for Evan Marshall. Casey McGee leaves the game for the Giants. Joaquin Arias takes over at third base. A.J. not in the starting lineup tonight, and he will hit for Marshall. Looks at strike 1. Pollock over .330 at the plate to start the year. The OPS now over 900. He was on base 5 times last night, 4 hits and a walk. He scored twice. And AJ with 6 hits and 11 at bats in the series. Diamondbacks down 4-1 as we start the 8th, and Heston right at 100 pitches. There's a strike, 1-2. Jeremy Affeldt, the left-hander, warming up in the San Francisco bullpen. Diamondback bullpen quiet right now. Oliver Perez had been warming up. That one misses away. It's 2-2. Heston, since giving up a 1-out double to Goldie in the 6th, has retired the last 5 he's faced. Called strike 3, gets it on the corner. 6 strikeouts for Chris Heston, 1 down in the 8th. Lance Barrett brings up Pollock, but that one appeared to be a good call.
Oh, it makes it look bad. Buster sets up on the inside corner. Pitch is thrown to the outside corner. And it looked like Buster was reaching off the plate away to catch that one.
Sergio Romo will join Jeremy Affeldt in warming up in the Giant bullpen. Here's Ender Inciarte 0 for 3. Fakes a bunt. Arias comes in from third. And it's in there for a strike. Romo the right-hander, Affeldt the lefty. Ender began the ball game tonight hitting .395. That's third best in the National League. And he's got an 8-game hitting streak on the line right here. He's had exactly 2 hits in each of his previous 3 games. Already 7 multi-hit games this year. And he did not go. That's Chris Siegel down there at third. Three balls and a strike. Diamondbacks need some base runners. Perez will start throwing again in the Arizona bullpen. Out there with bullpen coach Mel Stottlemyre Jr. 3-1 to Inciarte. Bounces it to first. It backs up Belt. Heston covers. He'll have to hurry, but to get the out.
Bell just holding his ground there, waiting for that hop. Had to backpedal a step or two to get the big bounce, but quick shovel onto Heston, who just does beat Ender over there to the bag.
Well, Affeldt, the left-hander, has been warming up for a while now. And let Heston work to Inciarte. Here's another lefty now in Jake Lamb. Jake is 0 for 3. Affeldt is ready in the San Francisco bullpen, but we'll see if Heston can close out the 8th. There's ball 1. Jake Lamb, a 5-game hit streak on the line in this at bat. He has reached base safely in every game this year, but so far 0 for 3. There's a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, Boch would like to get his right-hander through this inning. The pitcher spot due up third for the Giants.
They need a win. They got to have one here. They've lost 8 straight. Good pitch there by Chris Heston.
Change up. Down low in the zone. Bottoming out in the dirt just behind home plate.
Two outs, a ball, and 2 strikes. Just miss inside. It's even 2-2.
Buster wants it up. Little tailing action. Looked like it might have caught that inside corner, but does not get the call that time.
And lays off. Fastball upstairs, and it's full 3-2. Goldie on deck. $41,756. Right back to the mound. It's off. Heston, it caroms. Crawford can't pick it up. And it rolls into left center field. Lamb's aboard with a base hit. Just the 5th Diamondback hit, and that might be it here for Heston. Bochy will make the move. Sergio Romo will come in. And Chris Heston will exit to a standing ovation. Back after this. and get out to a Diamondbacks game and live it. It's for the thrill of the game. Pepsi, live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Sergio Romo is on for the Giants. 2 outs. Jake Lamb at first. He'll work to Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. There's the strike 0-1. Romo got the loss in the marathon game here Thursday night when he faced Aaron Hill in the 12th after walking Goldie intentionally. Hung one, and Aaron Hill hit it for a 2-run double. That was the difference in the ball game, and it was the loss for Romo. And he didn't get the chance to walk Goldie here. He's got to face him 4 for 13 for Goldie against Romo. That was Romo's first career loss against the Diamondbacks. 0-2. Romo against Arizona. 5-1, a 1.24 ERA in over 50 innings of work. He's ahead of Goldie. 0-2. Lamb the runner at first. 2 down.
Two fastballs to start the sequence on the outside corner, something Romo rarely does. Throw fastballs back to back, but he jumped ahead in the count 0-2, tried to lead Goldie out of the zone with that trademark slider.
I felt the lefty is ready in the Giant bullpen. Casilla is throwing in there as well, the right-hander. A ball and 2 strikes. Got him. Sergio Romo comes in and strikes out Goldie. And Isonia rings him up down there at first. Giants lead at 4-1.
With you, yes, I was on the high seas. Well, I got to be honest, they weren't all that high. McCovey Cove, pretty calm. You go out there, paddle in a kayak along the seawall. Incredible experience, though. Guys, I have to tell you, it was a lot of fun. The key is definitely stay away from the bigger boats, and you shouldn't have any problem. I don't look too good right there. That's not very good form, but it was a lot of fun. And Bob, I feel for you. You know, for me, it's the opposite, though. I came back on land, and I'm a little bit trying to get my bearings again. I feel kind of dizzy on land. So maybe I'm better off on the water. I don't know.
A natural. Oliver Perez is on there for the 8th inning here. Thank you, Jody. Glad to have you back as Justin Maxwell will take you at bat for Blanco. Oliver Perez has thrown only 2 pitches in this series. And one of them was hit out on Thursday night for a home run by Brandon Crawford. That was in the 7th inning. That was the home run that got the Giants back into that ball game. Diamondbacks ended up winning 7-6 in 12. This was Crawford Thursday night against Oliver Perez.
Yeah, just a misplaced fastball. We talked about Crawford earlier in the ball game being a good fastball hitter. Ollie wanted to really push him off the plate with that first one, but left it over the inside corner, and Crawford made him pay.
He homered again tonight off Ruby De La Rosa. There's a strike, 2-2. So Maxwell 4 for 18 on the year. He's had just 2 at-bats in this series, and he struck out both times. In fact, he has punched out 5 times in his last 6 at-bats, Justin Maxwell.
One fastball that got away from Tuffy Gosa was behind the plate. Ripped the signage back there behind the plate. One hopping. Almost right through the rolling sign back there.
Call maintenance. Reaches down and drops it into right center for a base hit. Giants have the leadoff man on in the 8th. And here comes Crawford, who has 2 home runs in this series.
Okay, I do have.
Santiago Casilla, the Giant closer, is now the only man warming up in their bullpen. Crawford 1 for 3. The homer back in the 4th, a 2-run shot off Ruby De La Rosa. Almost a bunt. Fouls it back to the screen. 0-1. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Andrew Susak, who was the catcher for the latter portion of the season for the Giants last year, the backup catcher, just called up from AAA Sacramento today. As they had to put Jake Peavy on the DL. He's got a back issue. We saw that flare up last night. And so Susak is here. He will hit, and we'll likely see Casilla, the closer, in the 9th. The Giants desperate for a win. They've lost 8 straight. Just 3-9 to start the year. Already 5 games back in the NL West. And the Diamondbacks learned last year when they started out 8-22 that you can lose a lot of ground in April if you're not careful. They always say you can't win it in April, but you can lose it.
You can sure lose it in April, yeah.
Back with you tomorrow for the series finale, 12:30 Diamondback Live pregame show. Jeremy Hellickson versus Tim Hudson in that ball game. Chris Owings tries to make a backhand stop. The shovel pass to second, and they cannot get Maxwell. And the first 2 Giants have reached in the 8th. That was a burner right at CO. Took a funny carom and still almost had a play on Maxwell.
Second base umpire C.B. Buckner waited to see if Nick Ahmed was able to hang on to that shovel toss. CO recovers, but Nick can't hang on. Everybody's safe.
So Susak will hit for the pitcher. Here comes Mike Harkey. 2 on, no outs. They ruled out an error. An error on Chris Owings at second. So Maxwell in at second. Crawford aboard on E4. And Susak will hit for the pitcher. Susak just recalled today from the minors. He'd been just crushing the ball at AAA Sacramento. 7 hits and 20 at-bats with 3 doubles. And he got a World Series ring here before the ball game tonight. Played 35 games for the Giants last year. Had 19 RBIs, 3 home runs. Now this is the guy they like a lot, and we saw why last year. A second-round pick out of Oregon State 4 years ago. His numbers from last season.
He's from just up the road in Roseville, up near Sacramento. They consider that to be the Bay Area. It kind of extends that far north.
Yeah, Susac, second-round pick by the Giants out of Oregon State. He was drafted one spot after the Braves took Nick Ahmed out of UConn. Nick is out there at shortstop. That's out of play. Giants had a good draft in 2011. Their second-round pick, as we mentioned, Susac, their first-rounder that year, Joe Panik. So that draft worked out pretty well. Harris ahead 0-2. Javier Lopez, the lefty specialist, warming up at the Giant bullpen now. Diamondback bullpen is quiet, so Lopez, the lefty down there. Casilla, the right-hander. How about those white shoes?
Are those legal? I mean, the fashion police, they used to say that your shoes had to be at least 50% your uniform color. And for the Giants, that's either black or orange.
Fashion now is just all over the place. They look like Joe Willie Namath down there.
You used to only see that in All-Star games. Guys would break out the white cleats for the All-Star game.
Looks like the logo is gold, so maybe that counts. They've got their gold uniforms on. See Crawford, he's got the orange shoes down there at first. There is ahead 0-2. Lifts it in the air to left, David Peralta. And that's the first out in the 8th.
Fans, I know you've been waiting for this. Tomorrow after the Diamondbacks game, it's the best of Cup of Coffee with Steve Berthiaume.
Whoa, hey, who knew?
A compilation of some of the best portions of interviews with Goldie, Mark Trumbo, Bronson Arroyo, Aaron Hill, Brad Ziegler, Patrick Corbin, Addison Reed, and you definitely do not want to miss that.
Those shows are always fun. I know the fans always appreciate them. Nori Aoki, he's 2 for 4, doubled and scored in the first and singled in the 4th.
Well, the great thing about those Cup of Coffee shows was you get more than, well, I'm just looking for a good pitch and try to put a good swing on it.
Yeah,
you don't get all the cliches. Guys open up a little bit. You get a sense of their personality, what makes them tick.
Our producer Josh Kellman does such a great job with those as Aoki lifts it out to Peralta. A play out there on Maxwell at second, but he's back in time. And 2 outs for Panik. Mentioned that Panik's bat has come alive in this series. He was really slumping, 3 for 29 coming in. But as he steps in here, he's got, let's see, 7 hits in 14 at bats in this series. And the average is up over 270. An RBI single in the first. He singled and scored in the third, 2 for 4. Maxwell at second, Crawford at first, 2 outs. Tuffy Gozovic one more time.
Yeah, I would almost certainly anticipate a day off for Tuffy, a day game after a night game, and all the work he's done in this series, in this road trip for that matter. He's about due for a day off.
You better believe it. So likely we see Jordan Pacheco back there tomorrow, catching Jeremy Hellickson up against Tim Hudson for the Giants. It's a bouncer over the head of Perez. Ahmed has to hurry here, and he can't get him. The bases are loaded. It just dived behind that mound once it got over Ollie's head, and Panik's aboard. That's his 3rd hit.
You saw Chris Owings back off of that ball, which is a proper play. He was going to have an awkward throwing angle coming across from second base if he fields the ball. Nick Ahmed's momentum is carrying him right toward the bag at first. However, just too much speed for Joe Panik, able to leg it out for an infield single.
Well, Angel Pagan, the switch hitter, will bat right-handed against the lefty Perez. Pagan, bases full, 2 down. He walked in the first. He's 0 for 3. A 16-game hitting streak against the Diamondbacks on the line. Just misses. It's 2 balls and a strike. Maxwell is the runner at third. Brandon Crawford at second and Joe Panik at first. 2 outs, 2 and 1 on Pagan. Diamondbacks in the 9th. They'll have Peralta, Trumbo, Gozawish 4, 5 and 6. Trying to keep it a 3-run ball game right here. 3 and 1. In the air, left field, Peralta. And Oliver Perez leaves them loaded, and we go to the 9th. Diamondbacks need 3. They trail it 4-1. Look at our Cox Gigalife high-speed highlights as we speed into the 9th inning here on a cool night by the bay. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson with you. Santiago Casilla is on to close out a 4-1 Giant lead, or try and snap their 8-game losing streak. He's on for the 6th time this year. He has allowed a run in each of his last 2 appearances. One of those was the marathon game here Thursday. When he came in the 10th and gave up a home run to the first batter he faced, that was A.J. Pollock. Justin Maxwell stays in the game. He takes over for Blanco in right field. Here's Peralta. Peralta homered back in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. David Peralta, Mark Trumbo, and Tuffy Gozawish, the scheduled hitters in the 9th.
Casillas a little odd for a closer in that he throws 2 different breaking balls. Tailing fastball in the low to upper 90s, or low to mid 90s rather. He'll throw a curveball and a slider. You don't usually see that out of the short relievers out of the pen. They'll throw one or the other, but usually not both.
There's a strike, 2-1. Well, the Giants not only trying to snap this 8-game losing streak, but trying to win a home game for the first time all year. They've not won at AT&T Park this season. This was Santiago Casilla on to face A.J. Pollock in the 10th Thursday.
A fastball up on that inside part of the plate. Kept it just fair down that left field line.
2 balls and 2 strikes. It's full. Trumbo on deck. He singled in the 2nd. Giants have lost 8 straight. Last time they lost 9 in a row, 2006. Called strike 3. Lance Barrett brings up another Diamondback hitter. And Chip Hale still shaking his head in the D-back dugout.
Yeah, this is that old proverbial too close to take, right at the bottom of the knees. And with the strike zone that Lance Barrett's been calling all night, you better be ready to hack in those 2 strike counts at anything close.
Mark Trumbo, his 2nd inning single extended his hit streak to 7 games, and he looks at strike 1. Trumbo belts it into center. Diamondbacks have a 1-out base runner.
A nice adjustment there by Mark. He is always ready to hit the fastball, but that was a hanging breaking ball. You could see his weight got out on his front foot, but he recognized the pitch. Kept the hands back and just slammed it back up the middle of the field for a base hit.
Let's see if Tuffy Gozawish can turn in one of his patented 10 or 12 pitch ABs and kind of wear down Casilla a bit, where maybe he makes a mistake either here or later in the order. Tuffy singled in the 2nd. He's 1 for 3. And has still reached base safely in every game he's played this year. Built to play behind the runner at first. Tuffy takes one on the shoulder, and now the Diamondbacks with 1 out in the 9th will get the tying run to the plate. Dave Righetti.
And that'll get some activity in that Giants bullpen. At about the time Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, got out to the mound, 4 bodies bounced out of that Giants dugout, now joined by more.
Looks like the whole team is running down there.
A couple of catchers, a couple of pitchers, a backup guy.
Well, Casilla has converted 22 of his last 23 regular season save opportunities dating back to last year. A 2.14 ERA over that span, but he'll get going in a hurry. I felt the left-hander was warming earlier. And he's down there with Gene Michie, the righty. So 2 on, 1 out. Tying run at the plate. It's Chris Owens, who's 0 for 3. Trumbo, the runner at second, and goes to wish at first. CO again jumps on the first pitch. Crawford, panic, Belt, they roll it. And that's the ball game. The Giants snap that 8-game losing streak. Hold on, we're going to have perhaps a challenge here.
Chip Hale held up his hand to the first base umpire, Dan Isonia. They're going to let it pass.
Yep, that's the final. Put it in the books. And Casilla makes it interesting, but the Giants get the win. 4-1 the final here. Well, Ruby De La Rosa, for the most part, pitched a good ball game. He made one big mistake to Brandon Crawford, a 2-run homer in the 4th. And the Giants end up out hitting the Diamondbacks 12-6. They win it 4-1. In 2 hours and 38 minutes. Diamondback Live postgame show is next here on Fox Sports Arizona. We'll have reaction from both clubhouses as the D-backs drop this one 4-1 back from AT&T Park right after this.